Hey everybody, Andrew Tibbs. Welcome to my horror. Okay? I have become a man. Alright, I finally saw a movie that apparently I didn't know it was a requirement to see this movie. I thought the requirements were always like Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones. The basic movies growing up, you had to watch them in order to be considered a real life person. Or now, it'd be like Evil Dead or Night of the Living Dead, stuff like that. But I went to the $5 bin and I purchased a movie that I had wanted to see for a long time, but I just never got around to seeing it. I speak of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now, you guys heard during the last episode I did, well, one of the last ones I did, when I was talking about the Devil's Carnival. I love musicals, okay? And although I can't tell you I don't know the words to the song other than like, let's start the time warp again, or Transvestite Transylvanian. I know some of the words to those songs, but the thing is, they're catchy songs, like very catchy. I don't know the words yet, but give me a couple more viewings of this movie, I'll start belting out those songs when I'm in appropriate settings for obvious reasons. Let's go ahead and get started with the sign, and then we'll break into this, not break into song and dance, but we'll break into this movie, alright? Alright. Don't judge me. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. So let's get started. Like I said, I watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I acknowledge this movie is not on my original 15 list. I'm still going to watch most of those movies, but I don't know if any of you have ever made a Halloween list. Some of my movie titles change based on circumstances, like how quick I can get movies, and, that's just different factors that feed into it. Now, I'm going to count this one as a part of my list because I've never seen it before, and it is a classic. And people will debate, and I think they have a good argument that the Rocky Horror Picture Show is not a horror film. And it's not strictly a horror film. It's a musical and a comedy, obviously. But with that being said, if I were the two main characters that their car breaks down and they end up going into Dr. Frankenfurter, I think that's how you say his name. If they go into Frankenfurter's castle, or Tim Curry, I'd be pretty horrified because there is some weird crap going on down in that castle. So I've already started with the story. It stars, what are their names? They're the actors. Barry Bostwick, which you would know him as the mayor from Spin City, is what I know him from that TV show. Susan Sarandon, and then my man Tim Curry. And the names are Brad and Janet. They're the names of the guy and the girl who they get engaged really quickly, just after one song. And they decide they're driving in the middle of the night, it's raining outside, and their car breaks down outside like somewhere in Ohio in the country. And they see a castle, and they decide to go and seek refuge in this castle. And when they get there, the guy who answers the door is this, oh man, he is like the most pale-looking hunchback dude I've ever seen. It's supposed to be like the Igor type person. But he answers the door and he's like, hello, hello. It's like a creepier version of what Medea would say. But I find that, I don't know, maybe I must have seen parts of this movie somewhere, but I start to talk to people like I'm that guy, like, hello. Like when I answer the phone, that's what I say. So I guess it all comes together. But he answers the door. They see that all these people are there. It looks like there's some strange party. They're singing the song called Time Warped Again, which I guess is like the key song for the movie. And when they start to, back up and want to leave, here's this elevator that opens up, and here comes Tim Curry in all of his transvestite glory. Again, this is probably not a movie you want to show to a church group, just saying that, but he opens up the elevator, he starts talking, he's still like, he's got a robe on, so you don't know what he looks like underneath, and I am obsessed with the way Tim Curry talks in this. Like, I'm trying to do my best. Let me see if I can do it for you guys. hello there. Ah, there, got it, that was good. But he's like, your car broke down, huh? And he walks past Boswick and Sarandon, walks up to the top of the stage, and he unveils himself, and he's dressed in the most drag outfit you've ever seen. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's like a train wreck, but when you're seeing Tim Curry, who's, I'm just going to say, is like one of the most underrated actors in the world. That guy's a genius. But when he gets up there and he's like in his makeup, his hair's all crazy, he looks like a transvestite version of like what you would see in a horror film, like any of the old horror films. Like, it's like a train wreck. You can't not look at him. Like, he is so interesting to watch, and you can tell in this movie that all the people who are involved, Tim Curry, they are in love with making this movie. They are having so much fun, and it's contagious, because when you're watching this as a viewer, especially for the first time, you just want to have fun. When I bought this movie at the $5 bin, because like I said, I always wanted to see it, and when I went to church, yeah, I talked about this with the guy at church, his name is John Lillywhite. He found out I'd never seen it before, and he's immediately like, what, you never saw this before? You never saw this before? And I'm like, no, I didn't. He said, I have it on Blu-ray. That's not how he talks, by the way. I have it on Blu-ray. Come over to my house, I have a projector, we'll watch it. And I was like, that's amazing. That's probably the perfect way to watch this. But we got there, started watching it, and I digress. Let's go back to the story. So, what's Dr. Frankenfurter, Tim Curry's character, he invites Brad and Janet up to the top level where he's going to unveil his next creation. So he's like a Frankenstein type character, and his creation is Mr. Beefcake himself, Rocky Horror. I don't know if his last name is Horror, but he's called Rocky, and it's this like muscular guy that Tim Curry basically just uses as like a trophy husband or something. I'm not even sure. And honestly, parts of the movie really just don't make sense to me, but this is one of those very few times I'm watching a movie that doesn't make sense that I can care less. It is so much fun to watch. Special appearance from one of my top 3 favorite singers of all time, Meatloaf. He comes in the movie and he sings one of the best songs of the movie. Like I said, don't have it memorized yet, but give me time. It'll happen. But the movie was a heck of a lot of fun. I'm really, really glad I watched this. I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. No, it was just so much fun. I love musicals like this. And as weird as the movie is, you can't help but just kind of give into it just a little bit. It's got some suggestive stuff. Again, I'd be cautious of who you would watch this with. It's not like, I don't think it's any evil stuff. It's just Tim Curry is a very curious and risque man in this movie, and it shows. And so, go into the movie knowing about that. And I just want to, before I finish this video off, I just want to highlight how much of a genius Tim Curry is. Like, I don't think people realize how amazing of an actor that guy can be. He was Pennywise in the original It, that was the miniseries on TV. And although, this is just my opinion, the one on TV, it has a lot of flaws. Tim Curry, however, is the one thing that kind of raises up that, he's what makes the miniseries good. He's that good of an actor. And when I saw him in this movie, every scene that he's in, he steals. And I'm not just talking this because, it's not because of the drag makeup or the whole transvestite, transsexual thing. But it was just, he steals the show. Like, the way he looks, how he sings, how he talks. So much fun. He has this one phrase that he says in the movie. It's like, I guess, one of the key ones, and I'm reading off of a paper, sorry, but it says, right before he invites Brad and Janet up to the top level to see Rocky, he's like, come up to the layer and see what's on the slab. God, man, that's good. I'm doing better at that. You guys can judge it if you want, but just, like, because I was talking about Tim Curry, I mean, just look at this guy. Look at him for 5 seconds and tell me you're not falling in love. Seriously, look at that. Why is he biting his lip? He's curious about something. So, I just wanted to share that movie with you guys. Tons of lot of fun. I know I digressed a lot in this video, but you know it's when I'm just happy to talk about something. And I will. You guys have a good one. I will see you guys later. Sorry I'm ending on a weird note, but deuces. Bye.